It only took me a short 45 years and 200 days to see a therapist on my own accord. It only took her a week to decide we couldn't meet again. To be fair, that wasn't her fault or mine, because our first session, my first time ever willingly seeing a therapist, was on March 13th, 2020. Yeah, I think we all remember the day California shut down. Do I know how to pick 'em or what? A week later was supposed to be our second session. To my new therapist's credit, she was willing to meet in person. Actually, come to think of it, I don't know if that is to her credit. But I, on the other hand, had already fully embraced the invasion of the body snatchers approach to COVID life. Don't trust anyone, and don't go to sleep. Unfortunately, she wasn't doing remote sessions yet, so my time in therapy came to an end. For a month. She got on Zoom, and we were off to the races, my sharing stories about my experiences, my COVID experiences. We're running out of Clorox wipes. My friend's dad is sick. NHL's canceled. I stocked up on hot sauce. I traded lemons for sourdough. My friend's dad died. The NBA canceled. You know, virtual happy hours are like being in my favorite bar, my couch. How about that Donald Trump? Ooh. How about that Eric Trump? Ooh. How about that Joe Exotic? Huh? My friend is sick. They canceled baseball. If you add sanitizer to a paper towel, you don't even need a Clorox wipe. I cracked open my fanciest scotch. Oh, my Zoom background? Yeah, it's the barn raising from Witness. My friend died. The specific reasons I finally went to a therapist got eclipsed by the 24/7 pandemic anxiety shared by a few billion people. And my sessions were on Friday, so by the time she saw me, it was probably like the 10th time you get the same fucking meme. But then a few months passed. My COVID anxiety had simmered to a low boil. It was time to talk about me. Nope. My mom somewhat suddenly passed away. So welcome to New Anxiety Math. Take COVID, add organizing a virtual funeral, mourning this amazing woman who truly gave me everything, trying to clean out a house that was like 5 cats shy of being on Hoarders, throw in a dash of pandemic avoidance in the state of Delaware that apparently never taught people how to use a mask, and garnish with an actual tornado. Yes, a tornado. First time I ever got that on my iPhone, go to your basement. Tree crashed in my house, the power's out, because 2020 is gonna 2020. My family and I spent 6 long months living in the second smallest state. I told my therapist that our drive back will be complicated, it will be hard to schedule a session. We haven't spoken since. That one's on me. Eventually I got settled back in LA, and one day my wife asked me, have you spoken to your therapist? It's not that I was hiding anything from her, but you know, we got into Ted Lasso, and it sort of took over everything. Cut to, she finds me a new therapist, one who's kind of perfect. That's the problem. I was now vaccinated, I had a bit of time to mourn. The old Delaware home was sold. The Dodgers won something resembling a World Series, which meant only one thing. I had to actually talk about what got me to therapy in the first place. More to the point, I had to talk about what didn't get me there for a few decades. And so I began to actually share with this therapist, not about COVID, not about the joys of selling a house in a pandemic, but about me. There was actually a time in 1990 that I was forced to see a therapist. When you lose your father at 16, well, that's how my high school show, they care. They sat me in a room with someone I never met to share what it felt like to find my dad dead from a heart attack. I had friends. I had my mom. I had the Twin Peaks soundtrack. I still do, by the way. I had HBO, I had a driver's license. I didn't need her, and so I shared nothing. Did I mention I was a teenager at the time? The 30 years that followed that moment, my reasoning for not seeing a therapist, not dealing with my mental health, well, gets a bit more blurry. My attitude about it resembled that great American philosopher, Homer J. Simpson, who, when faced with stress, opted to hide out under some coats and hope that somehow everything works out. That attitude actually kind of worked for a while. At 46, I'd just run out of coats. So cut to tonight. And look at me, I am obviously the picture of health. That part wasn't supposed to be funny. I'd share more about my discussions with my therapist, but I think that means I would have to pay each one of you her rate. And with this crowd, I think that would get a little expensive. I'm not sure I've solved my litany of issues just yet. I mean, in fact, my saying solved my issues shows I'm still a newbie at this. I might have spent my 20s avoiding me, but in my 30s, my me became larger, and not just in a pant-sized way. I became a husband. We got a dog. We had a human child. We had another human child. We had another dog. My mental health affects a lot more than that slightly older bearded guy I see in the mirror every morning. Which brings us back to Homer, who explained that he took a job at Burns' nuclear plant due to the arrival of Maggie. One wall of his cubicle, his station, is covered with pictures of her, and the words, "Do it for her." I don't know everyone in this room, I don't think, but I'll take a guess. You're not alone either. So if you need help, don't just do it for you, do it for them. And if you opt for therapy, try your best to schedule around the monkeypox outbreak. Thank you.